Okay. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Modeling and Wellbeing Podcast. This is your girl, Larissa, your host. And I'm so excited because, oh my gosh, we have my best friend on here, y'all. We have my best friend on here, okay? And she's not just my best friend, she's like my soul sister. We've known each other for like 15, was it going on 15 years now or something like that? I don't know. A long time. And it was natural that I needed to have her on this podcast because I really feel like her story is really strong. She's definitely had just a lot of time to continue to figure out who she is as an individual. Her relationship with wellness has evolved so much over the years, and full time she is a digital illustrator. So she's partnering up with different companies and has a passion for elevating Black voices into her art. And the colors that she uses, are bold, are beautiful, are vibrant. And she's on Instagram. I'm going to give y'all all of that stuff. But she has some really great work coming up that I'm not going to talk about, but she's always having really great work. And you have to remind me, KP, the gallery that you just did.
Mississippi Market
I can't remember
Co-op.
the name of it.
Yeah, it's I believe it's like community-based grocery store. So a lot of their decisions goes into or is considered of the community. And they have a little space there in the corner where they are featuring different artists to show their work. And the cool part is 100% of the proceeds go to me. So I thought it was a really cool way to be a part of my city more, like working more with local businesses and honestly just basking into that support.
Yes, I love it. And that is in Minneapolis, Minnesota. So if you are in that area, please go check it out and support her and other artists. So with that being said, welcome, Kprecia-Ambers Moore. I like to say KP or K Money, but you can't steal that nickname. That's my nickname.
Hi,
How are you?
I love you too. I'm good. The sun is shining more today. I do got my shades down just for video purposes, but I'm really happy. Whenever the sun is out, and then, I live in Minnesota, so, like a good 50s is like great in the winter time. So we're getting there,
Yeah, it's going to be beautiful there
You
this
better
weekend.
act like it.
Weather,
Act like you're still here.
Yeah. I know. I know. And a 50-degree weather feel like 80 in Minnesota. If you've never been there, just trust me. Trust us on that one. Well, I'm excited to just kind of dig right into it. I really would love to start with your art. I feel like I already kind of segued into that anyway, but just when did you find that, hey, digital illustration is something for me? When did that passion start?
That's a good question. I would say it was while attending college. I was going for a graphic design degree originally. And something just felt like a disconnect. Like I wasn't just all the way there. Like in my own words, graphic designers really help to communicate and elevate the visual of a brand. Like they help bring it to life, the words that they use, the type of fonts that they pick, the colors, all of that goes into the brand of a business. And for me, I just felt like there was more that I wanted to do with the art and center it more about the people's experience versus elevating the business per se. Like I still support businesses, but it'd be the mission behind the project that gets me going. Like if it's about wellness and uplifting people and encouraging people and different stories, that just empower us, because there is this pressure to like perform and be perfect and things be a certain way. And we know life is not like that, but when it's always in our faces, it's like being projected in some kind of way, it can take a mental toll, so it's like celebrate those experiences. And while I was in school, during like projects that we would have, we were doing like package rebrands. Like there was projects in the class that I really connected with. And I started to notice I would put like illustrations in. And at the time I didn't know how to do programs as good, like working with Illustrator and things, but I would basically like draw an image and then I would take a picture of it and then I would import the picture and then trace over it in Illustrator. And I was still exploring what that looked like. But I just knew I kind of was like, this illustration thing is kind of fun. So when we got toward my senior year, we were given the opportunity to do a passion project. We could do anything we wanted. And I would say I spent that summer just like sitting on what it is that I wanted to do in my work, how I wanted to use my artwork to give back. And during that session with myself, I kind of discovered like home decor. I'm like, home decor, I guess this is something I can use where I could make art to empower people and celebrate people in their home, like a space where they're coming home and they feel good in, because the world can just be crazy. And I feel like everyone deserves to feel, that love and empowerment at home. So I decided home decor was going to be it. And I know I like to do poster art based off of, again, my assignments in class. I'm like, okay, let's go for that. I'm going to do home decor. So when I started in graphic design again for my senior year, I like started studying like ways I can create different patterns in art and make it meaningful. And that's when I discovered like thinker art and their symbols and their patterns and the meanings behind it. And I started creating my own patterns. So I really got into that space. And then once I graduated, I was just on a new mission. It's like I felt kind of bad because I'm like, I went to school for graphic design, but I was more interested in pattern and surface design. And then as I was exploring my voice, like trying to like get into different spaces, I was really, really like focused on finding Black spaces, like seeing myself represented. I wanted to see Black artists. I wanted to just work for a Black owned company. I wanted to just find them online, honestly. I would like look it up, like on Google. I'll type in Black graphic designers. No one would come up during this time. I'm like, okay, like I know now I'm considered older, like I graduated in 2015, but I feel like even
Yeah.
that time, diversity I just felt like was a little more progressive in like me seeing it, so I would be really surprised. And honestly, at a point, kind of discouraged me. Like I was still applying for graphic design, but I just knew again there was more I wanted to do with my voice. I know I wanted to be an entrepreneur at a young age. And so I just started creating what I wanted to see and started mixing in like my patterns with Black art. I started creating images of Black women and just celebrating that culture because it just wasn't out there and it was hard to find. And illustration just blossomed from there. I learned different techniques and different ways to create. I remember when I first started, like I was taking my own pictures still, and like just I remember like using brushes. Now I use more like the pen tool and Illustrator. It's been a really cool journey. I don't even know if I answered your question. I just feel like I went into a whole story
Yeah.
mode.
Oh, girl. No, that's really helpful. I've a couple things came to mind when you were sharing.
Mhm,
First off, thanks for sharing that journey with us because number one, it goes to show you that if you don't see something out there already created for the things that you want to do,
mhm,
be courageous and create that path, and your passion will follow. And I feel like you show that a lot in your journey. And then number two, I love that you just continue to stick on like, hey, I support Black, and this is important because at the end of the day, we didn't have, I mean, we went to Concordia University St. Paul, Minnesota, and you know
yeah.
growing up in Minnesota, first of all, there's just not a ton of Black people that's doing a lot of things that maybe we
Mhm,
want to do or that we look up to, in different fields and everything. And I always remember, you bring that up, like, hey, there's not a lot of graphic designers that are Black or digital illustrators. And I feel like it's powerful for you to be a Black voice in this space and being a positive example for people who are maybe in that space right now that you were.
Oh
I
my
can't believe I'm saying
gosh.
this, like 7-8 years ago from college until now, you know? So, like, I know we talked a lot about that though, and how it can really be kind of
Hmm.
almost like you mentioned, discouraging, or you're defeated as a Black artist. And I'm wondering, when you were kind of going through your phases of, you know, going to digital illustration and knowing the lack of representation, what, if any, kind of like mental effects that had on you, like as an individual and as a Black artist? Like, did you feel like there was a connection to like your sense of worth that honestly was like, man, like, I don't know if I should be doing this, or imposter syndrome, like, you know, why should I be in this field as a Black person? There's just not as, you know, many people that look like me in this field, and I feel inadequate, you know. And I'm not saying that's how you felt, but I would just imagine, like, if I were in those shoes, those are some feelings that I would feel. Or it'd be maybe the completely opposite, like, because of this, I'm
Yeah.
gonna step into this even more, period. So I'm
Yeah, I
wondering
feel
what
like
your
you said
thoughts
like a
are
whole
around that.
mix of everything I was feeling anyways. Because like I said, in
Hmm.
college, well, I will say in college is where where it started to hit me more. Like you said, we live in Minnesota, you already kind of don't see a whole bunch of diversity, but I feel like the schools I went to, like in grade school, in yeah, I would say mainly grade school was like diverse. So I was like introduced to like this diversity. At least that's how I remember in my mind, like seeing many different people, and then going to like an all black school, and then going to a
Hmm.
all white school, and then and then going to college, and then seeing like majority white. Of course, it wasn't like super surprising again, but um, for me, what blew me is I know black people is creative. Okay, we're talented. We are very talented. So it was confusing to me. I'm like, first of all, when I was going to school, I didn't never hear of graphic design before. So it was like I went to school originally for web design. My mom had a big influence on me, and I grew up in the Facebook, and MySpace, MySpace era when it was big on that, and you were able to customize your own templates and things of that nature. And I was like, okay, I'm going to school for this. But graphic design was something I hadn't heard of before. It was like introduced to me there, and so I was like, okay, it makes sense that there's not like a whole lot of people, people of color in general. I barely seen anything like in videos and books that we read about. So I'm like, maybe it's a new type of field, and like a lot of people aren't there. But, by the time I'm graduating and then I'm going to like all these studio tours, and I'm like, again, black people are creative. Like, why am I not even able to see it online? So
Hmm.
um, that had a really big impact on me. Like I said, it was discouraging. And um, at a point, I was like, no, I'm just keep digging because I know we're out here, and we are. Like
Hmm.
there's a little community here. It's like once you like get in and you just find your space, you get exposed to so many different people and so much different talent, and I feel like it's coming out more. But I would say back then, during that process of I don't know, transitioning more into digital illustration. Like, I feel like my whole goal and purpose is again to just celebrate us, right? It's to celebrate our stories and like move away from these narratives of perfection. So overall, like I want to encourage people, but
Hmm.
celebrating my culture is something that was important, and because of that journey, it's important for me to show that representation. So it means a lot to me, and I also get to learn
Hmm.
more about my own culture, more about my own self. And that is within itself very empowering. Um, and I also wanted to say that while I was transitioning, um, it was hard convincing myself to be like, if you can't find the mentor or someone to guide you per se, because I was somebody who wasn't afraid to like reach out. Like I'll reach out to people. I don't care. Like I need information. I need support, and I know I can't do this alone. So I would reach out, but I wouldn't see a lot of
Mm-hmm.
Black people. And then when the people I did see that were Black designers, it was like so inspiring. So I was like, okay, maybe
Mm-hmm.
if you can't find it, you gotta kind of be it, and you gotta create that space. So it was scary for
Mm-hmm.
me, and it took me a while to just accept it and be like, you got to
Mm-hmm.
walk in this and be an example to somebody. And I would say now I see a lot more
Yeah.
designers of color, especially Instagram, that's opened me up way more to like, oh my God, my people. Again, like in the beginning, it was hard because with Instagram, you be trying to look up certain things and it just don't working out. Like it don't give what you looking for basically. But then like when you find one little person
Mm-hmm.
and you start following their account and then like at that top part, and it'd be like people to follow. And you're like, wait a minute, like there's a lot. And then
Yes.
over time I've just been able to find that community. So
Mm-hmm.
it's very inspiring. Um I think for anyone who's going after and like following their dreams and their passions and creating their own spaces, like I think like it's naturally going to be a little nerve wracking because we all do have our own voice. We all do have a uniqueness
Yeah.
that we bring. So I guess kind of in a way you do have to accept that you are going to be a little different because you're supposed to be
Mm-hmm.
that way. You're supposed to be giving your voice and your true self and not trying to imitate another. So I feel like that's powerful within itself.
Yeah. I love that. I have to sorry, grab my charger because I don't want it to die.
You know,
Um
like that happened, girl. I made sure I plug
Sorry
mine
about
out first.
that. Girl, I was like,
Yep. Them
oh, it said low
videos
power
be
mode. I said,
draining.
oh, no,
Like
no,
it
no.
drains faster than anything. I'm like, wait a minute.
I know. No, but yes, I love everything that you said. And it's just like, kind of going back into leaning into your own voice and being in your own path. Like, I know me and you are very spiritual people, and I believe that when God gives us a voice, like
Mhm.
he's going to make it known to use it, and no matter how much we derail from that or like maybe don't know what it is, he's going to do all that he can to help us stay on that path to be a voice and example for others.
Yeah, thank
And I
you.
feel like you have a very powerful voice. I mean, I
Yeah.
feel like we always talk all the time, but just your genuine spirit, your presence,
Yeah.
is always appreciated in my world.
Girl,
So,
and
and
I feel the
other
same about
people's
you.
world too. Thanks, Boo. I just feel like
We
I just be
do.
talking a lot. No. um, but okay, so with that being said, I forgot to say this in the beginning, y'all, but she is the CEO of her company. It's called KP Inspires. And so she does a lot of her artwork through there. So I'm going to definitely share the website and everything so that you can check her website out and then also social media and all that stuff. But so I want to shift gears, KP. I want to go into wellness journey, okay? Because I know that we our wellness journeys are always changing. It's always flowing and ebbing and flowing. And so I would love for you to just share like what does your relationship with wellness even look like right now
Okay,
or
before
feel
I
like?
answer that question, I will say I got a phone call, right?
Yes.
And then like I think it stopped recording,
Yeah.
so we might have like okay,
Oh
well
no,
on my end, and like
it's
the
still
recording has
recording.
started over.
Yes.
So just in case anything kind of weird,
Oh,
kind of
okay.
happens, what
Well,
happened. But getting back to your question, wellness, would do you want me to talk about it like in a comparison to like what it used to be, or like just what it looks like right now in my space?
what speaks to you? Do you feel like you want to kind of share how it evolved a little bit and what it looks like today? We
Yeah,
can
I'll
do
just
that.
I'll just talk on it. So for
Okay.
me, something that really stands out
Mm-hmm.
really big is one, we already know like a lot of the times like when we're eating unhealthy, and like what we're supposed to be doing, like moving our body more. But it's like easier to ignore when it's like when you don't see the impact of it. I should say you don't see the impact of it. Yeah, because
Mhm.
I was saying like it's easy to get caught up in your work, and the last thing I be wanting to do, like a couple years ago, was to stop and eat. You
Mhm.
know, or make sure that I'm eating, and it still be a challenge. I ain't even gonna lie, but like back then, it was just like way easier. It's like wake up, get to work, just start doing client work right away. Like whatever is on my mind, just start working because I don't know, maybe because that's a reflection of like how society has been brought to us, like to work hard, or maybe a reflection of my own environment. I'm not sure, but in my mind, like that was productive. You know, like get dressed, wake up, do what you got to do, and then get straight to work. And I would a lot of times just skip
Mhm.
work, skip eating for as I'm working, I don't want to stop and then go get a snack. Um, and then a lot of times when I am doing it, I'm reaching for something that's, you know, that look good in the moment, like some
Mhm.
chips. Yeah, something
Mhm.
that's like unfulfilling,
Yeah,
but
chips. Yep.
it does what it's
Mhm.
supposed to do, right? Like I'm not starving anymore. I got some energy to keep going. Um,
Mhm.
at a point in 2020, already a heavy year, you know, a lot was happening, COVID, murder of George Floyd, personal loss, and I guess being in the house. Like I'm already a homebody, but yeah, I don't know. It felt different, you know, like somebody telling you where you couldn't go no more, and then kind of seeing that
Mhm.
gone, like not being able to move around as much, not being able to hang out with friends and go out to eat. Like it was just a different type of like literally quarantine, you know, like what we went through. And
Mhm. Mhm.
I also was like working on a big project at the time, like stepping into being more of a service because my business started more in selling a product, again, focusing more on home decor, creating like beautiful images to celebrate Black women, celebrate music, just different things about culture. And then going more into a service where people are wanting to work with me, which was a different space. So maybe I just took it on really heavy as well. And again, there was a lot happening
Mhm.
during that time. But I started to really think about my self care, like what I was doing to pour into myself. I never thought about it before. I never really thought about like what self care looked like to me. You know, I would like take breaks and dance. Like I love music. I love to dance like by myself in my room, just in the mirror, you know, just having a good time. Um, and for me, that was like, okay, that's part of my, you know, like release time. But I was not looking at it like I needed more self care or what that really reflected for me. So, um, when I started having like digestive issues, that put more of an impact on me. And I wasn't like 100% sure what was happening, but a part of that was having to eliminate things that didn't serve me as much, you know, like not really knowing what was going on. I just would pay attention to how my body was feeling, and then I would eliminate from there. You know, and a lot of stuff I was eliminating was just stuff that I didn't need to eat anyway, like the chips. And I always say, like, for me,
Mhm.
the part that was crazy was, again, you know that it's bad for you, but I could, like, literally feel the impact, like, on my body. I would feel sick right away. My stomach would be bothering me. I just had to get careful and just let me start paying more attention to my body. And um, I feel like I'm a lot more conscious now. Like if I am eating something that's unhealthy for me, I'm very aware of it. But I also work work more to replace it with something that's healthy, or just I don't know. Reality hits more. It's like I know how that
Mhm.
impacts my body, and really being like, dang, like somebody like made that though. Like realities be hitting different. Like I really don't want to have them chips. Like that's a man-made
Mhm.
product. Like that don't come from the earth, you know. Like and that's literally probably not good for my body, you know. Like literally. And I don't
Yeah.
know. For me, when I put things like into
Mhm.
logic in a very logical sense, it's easier for me to like wrap it around my brain. It's like I can eat this food and it gives me energy. That's crazy. If I eat this fruit, it's like an actual
Yeah.
impact. That reality.
Mhm.
So with that journey, I feel like I just
That's crazy.
appreciate. and look at my health in a lot more, in a different way. And also my self-care. I look at it as a part of my self-care, like how I eat and how I treat my body. I'm more excited to work out because it'd be time for me, like literally being like, this is pouring into you. This is what you do for you. It's not about nobody else. It's not about no client work and jobs, but like literally, I'm going to set time for me because I'm important. And when I go down, my business is going down. And I experience that firsthand. Very big impact on my energy level to show up for people, big impact on me being able to show up for meetings and events. Like it just took a toll on my body, whatever was going on. And I'm happy to be in a better space. But I'm like, God, take care of yourself. You have to. You have to. It's so important. There is no business without you. So,
That's a
hey,
bar, KP. Wait, what did you say? You you said
girl, I can't repeat.
what the other one you said before that? The bar. You said something like if I'm not
Yeah,
healthy, my business
on
is
some
going
along the
down.
lines. This is so
You know?
real.
Like it's so real. Like I know. Sometimes the healthy stuff do not be tasting good. Our taste buds literally don't crave it. We don't want to eat
Mhm.
celery. That's 0 calories. But when you
Mhm.
put it with some peanut butter,
Yeah,
it's gonna taste a little better. So it's like you
for
kind of
sure.
have to find what works for you,
Mhm.
and then also have a balance, right? Because at the end of the day, if we took 100% of what we actually love, that would be considered quote unquote junk food,
Mhm.
then we're not going to be happy either. So it's like, how do you balance that stuff out? And I love, like, in your journey, like, you just literally learn how to be intentional about taking care of your body in a lot of different ways, whether that's dancing and giving yourself
Mhm.
mental breaks, right? And like stepping away from your body and your
Yeah.
mind and all the serious stuff to literally the foods that you're eating, that obviously, that was
Mhm.
tied because of the digestive thing. But what a like weird wrapped in
Yes.
sandpaper thing way blessing that it was, right? Because maybe that was the thing that you needed to go through to actually figure out what is healthy for your body and treat it healthier, and I know that we're
Mhm.
all getting older and stuff. Well, I said we all, but me and you, we're getting older. But it's so crazy, like how you can really
Mhm.
start to feel the difference in your body, and like you really notice, like, oh no, I actually would prefer not to intake that because I
Right.
know that that's going to give me a pimple, something like that. I just love that. It just sounds like you're just being more intentional. And that's a powerful thing to do because when you're intentional now, that's going to help like
Mhm.
benefit you when you're 60. Working out now is going to help you build that muscle that's decaying between now and
Right.
60. It's going to retain some of that stuff.
Thank you.
So
Yeah, we
I love
always are.
that.
Again, we know this. We know this, people. We know, like, we have to take care of ourselves. And there's like a billion one times you hear somebody say, like, eat this because it's healthy for you. And it's very true. But again, like, pay attention to your body, and what works. But also, like, look beyond that. Like, look at it more as it really is a part of your self care. It's like, how do you want to treat yourself? And that kind of like sits with me sometimes to like make a better choice. Like, 'cause I don't want to be forceful, right? Like, I ain't trying to create no lifestyle, because what I call it, like a lifestyle where you're doing diets every second and all this stuff. You're feeling stressed out to look a certain way for somebody or even for ourselves, because we can have our own distorted mindset views of how we're supposed to look versus embracing what is there, right? But yeah, also just like getting back to like that literal sense. It's like you need your body to move. You need it to move. So like when you are putting certain
Yeah.
things into it, you are fueling it. If it's not everything else that's getting you ambitious, at least that part. It's like, oh, I have legs to walk, or whatever it is that we have that we can still be blessed about,
Yeah.
like even when it's not what we want it to be, there's still something to be thankful for. And like anything else, if you want it to run good, you gotta take care of it. And that requires work, unfortunately.
Yes. Yes, we have to work for
Yes.
our bots too, y'all.
You're
Get
funny.
off that couch. I need to be telling myself that today. I forgot what I was gonna say, but it was along the lines of just movement is really important to move your body. Well, I do feel like, learning, knowing your journey, learning it here. I'm also wondering if you can just talk a little bit more about like your connection between you as a person and modeling, because I feel like you were like you're into photography and stuff, and I know you're getting more back into photography. You take your own pictures with really inspiring like words of
Mm-hmm.
affirmations and encouragement. So like share a little bit more about like why you even do that, right? Like what is the purpose of that and how you want to use that to kind of
Yeah, for
fuel
sure.
other people.
Like you mentioned, photography is just a really big part of my work. I'm very inspired by it. I'm inspired by like the emotion you feel when you see certain images, like, and I like to capture that energy. Like if it's excitement, if it's confidence, if it's joy, I want people to see my artwork and relate to it in some way. Like I don't care if it doesn't look like you. Like there's some kind of openness, which is why I don't always use facial
Mm-hmm.
features. There's openness to it to like reinterpret it and hopefully capture that feeling. And that is what makes me so attracted to modeling too. Like, me, I grew up already like
Mm-hmm.
seeing what is that show?
Yes.
America's Next Top Model. When it first came out, I was like, oh, I want to be a model.
Hey.
And then the more I got into it, the more I started realizing like it's not
Yes.
just necessarily like posing, but it's like how you can make someone feel.
Mm-hmm.
And then overall, I feel like modeling is just very artsy. It's very creative, like down to the photo shoot, to the set designer who makes it, down to the clothes that they wear, the makeup, how it's applied,
Mm-hmm.
how the photographer uses angles, how to use the light. Like everyone like on that set as a part of that is a creative in your own way. And it is so inspiring to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to capture that essence when I'm creating.
Yeah.
A lot of times models like give off confidence. So I like to capture that, and hopefully when
Mm-hmm.
people see it or view it, they can kind of feel that way too. It's that sense of confidence and
Mm-hmm.
re- that reminder to believe in yourself, sense of empowerment. Hmm.
Mm-hmm. I love that.
Yes.
Hashtag empowerment. We love to see it. We got to see it. Well, what advice, KP, would you give to anyone who's looking into stepping into the art space, from digital illustration to graphic design to modeling to creative director, photographer, whatever? Like what what like nuggets do you think is important for people to know given your personal
Hmm.
experience in this art space?
I would say, as an artist or just as an individual, to trust your voice, like follow it. Whatever that uniqueness is about you, just bring it out. It's a part of your style and it's a part of like what sets you out because it's coming from your voice. Um, and then
Mm-hmm.
I would also say to acknowledge like the business side of things. So like follow your voice, but also be conscious of the fact that you are running a business, you are running a brand. If you don't have a company, you are the brand. So there's still that business side of you. So I would say like grow knowledgeable in all that you want to do. And it's always going to be a forever process, even for myself. I don't always see like what I can be investigating more deeply on, but a lot of times when it's something that's repetitive and again like that the business stuff like naturally calls out, you're gonna have to do the accounting work. Like if you're not hiring somebody, you still have to recognize that part of it. And yeah, I'm saying that's mainly it. I try not to talk too much about it. But yeah, just grow knowledgeable in whatever you want
It's
to do.
okay.
And if it's something that you're wanting to even grow at as a skill set, that's a part of it.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. Knowledge is definitely power. Yeah, knowledge is power. So, in order for us to learn, we have to gain and then, of course, apply what we're gaining and then share it,
Mm-hmm.
which then it becomes
Mm-hmm.
wisdom, right? And so, with that being said, y'all, KP is dropping some wisdom for you through experience. And I hope that you learn,
Wait.
research it, and then apply it. And obviously, just figure out what works for you in your business because maybe you are doing modeling part time, right? I literally just did an episode about why it's important for you to
Mm,
brand yourself as a model, right? And why that's like powerful because you don't want to
yes.
just stand for anything, or yeah, stand for anything
Mm-hmm.
and fall for anything in the industry because people will test you. So, what are your values? What are your morals? And how do you incorporate that in the voice? And the more that you incorporate that, you'll continue to trust your
Mm-hmm.
voice, like KP said, because it's rooted in the
Yes.
things that are important to you, and that's that's how I like to kind of, I mean, not even just modeling, but like you'll notice that when you do that, it's just reflected in your life and how you engage with others and how you expect
Exactly.
things of yourself. So, I appreciate those pieces of advice, KP. And as we wrap our episode, just like the spaces for our listeners, for
Mm-hmm.
me, it's also for you. And I want you to feel empowered in this space. So I would love for you to share like 3 affirmations that are really resonating
Mm-hmm.
with you right now. They could be I am statements, I will, whatever's whatever's coming up for you that you would be so
Yes.
kind to share
Okay,
with us.
so I'm gonna kind of cheat. Like in our
Okay.
personal conversations, I've been talking about affirmations and like how I
Yes.
can just start to kind of put that in more into my daily life. So I have a little whiteboard back here, and I
Okay.
decided,
Okay. Hey, you're not cheating.
yes,
You're not
I
cheating. You're
decided
being
that I
prepared.
was
Okay. It's two
gonna
different
start
things.
just writing affirmations to myself on my whiteboard. So the
I
big
love
ones
that.
that kind of stand out to me right now is one, are you trusting God? So it's just asking myself and stopping and pausing, because again, we're spiritual, and when you choose to walk in the spirit, it's just a different type of light versus walking more in the flesh or like listening to what the voices are coming up in your head to say. When you walk in the spirit, it's like calling you to grow, and that can be scary.
Mm-hmm.
That can be scary overall. So it just kind of is a
Yes.
reminder of deciphering, like right now, are you just like nervous? And most of the time that's what it is. Like I'm just fearful to move. And, I hear the fleshly voice that's like trying to find a way to be comfortable or not to do it, where it's like, oh, you're not ready for that right now. It's like an easy way out, kind of. When it's like, no,
Mm-hmm.
and you're calling in this other space. Are you trusting God? That's one. Two,
Mm-hmm.
I have replaced I don't feel like it with I can. A lot of times people say replace I can't with I can. For me, it's like I don't feel like it because I feel like that's an easy thing for me to say in my head. It's like, oh man, I don't feel like
Yeah.
doing it right now. But it's like, no, but you can and you're able to, and that's a
Mm-hmm.
blessing within itself. So get up and like be present. Go wash the dishes. Like, why does it have to be such a daunting experience anyways? Like, because for me, I can be jumping all the way to the future of like just being done, which makes me not want to do it. But if I like am more present,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, just, I don't know, like when you're doing missions and sometimes you just start drifting and thinking. I know for me, I be talking to myself. I talk out loud, I don't care.
Yes.
And then, I had a whole conversation and dishes is done. It's done. Right. So like you got it done.
Boom. Right.
You are able and you can, and that's a blessing. And the third one, I would say, this reminder that my voice is made for something bigger than me. It's not made for profit
Mm-hmm.
or popularity. It's literally literally made to keep giving, spreading love and encouragement. So I feel like, again, going back to like that root and my purpose kind of gives me ground, because I was like, as a creative, entering into the space of doing commercial work and working with corporate and working with different businesses.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's my voice that's there, but it's still like tailored more toward the direction of the business, right? And I feel like in that sense, I could kind of lose myself a little bit, and it starts to become more about like the clients, like what else I can get next, how can I attract the work, how can I get more work, like it starts to just become so much about work in business, where it's like, wait a minute, God bless you with something bigger than that. Like you're supposed to be using your voice, period. Just use that, use your gifts, keep
Yeah.
loving and giving through your art, and still be open to collaboration.
Mm-hmm.
So those are my three main things right now.
Yes. Yay. That was amazing, KP. I love the rationale behind the affirmation, and how that's like connecting with you as an individual in your journey. So thank you for sharing that. And I'm so excited that you were able to stop
Yes.
into the
But
modeling and
look, how
well-being
long we've been trying to do
podcast
this? Like, I was down there for how long?
for like 3 weeks. I know. We were like, I know. She was literally here for like 3 weeks. And we kept on saying, all right,
So
we're going to do it
crazy.
tomorrow. All right. But, we ended up meeting with a few mentees, mentors. Um,
Change on course,
and,
yeah. Change on course.
you know, it definitely did in a
Yes.
cool, interesting way. No, but well, I appreciate you and I love you, and I'm so happy that you're able to be a part of this. How can we follow you or learn more about
Okay, you
you?
guys can follow me at KP Inspires. That's my Instagram. I will be making a Twitter, like, look out for that. And you can always visit my website at kpinspires.com. There I do provide a gallery of my artwork that I've done in the mix of my own passion work and also like a breakdown of art services. I really would love to collaborate and especially support Black owned in any kind of way. I really love doing like the advertising and marketing work. So let me know. And just thank you for listening.
Yes, yes. Thank you, everyone. I'll drop the links that she shared as well in the bio section of this podcast or the YouTube section, wherever you're listening. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Modeling and Wellbeing Podcast, where we are going to just continue to uplift voices. We're going to connect on wellness and modeling tips and talent tips to help you become successful in your journey. Thank you so much. And I will, I guess, see
Bye.
or
Love
hear
you,
from you soon.
bestie.
Bye.